wrote a letter to the senators, our Oregon representative in the Washington D.C., and we want to make sure that the Washington D.C. hear our voice. So I'm going to read the letter that we put together, and hopefully you guys agree with what we wrote. And please go to the table and sign. And Mr. Imami has promised that he's gonna give this to the representative and make sure that this gets to Washington. All right. This was written October 14th, 2022. Yes, U.S. Representative of Oregon State, of the state of Oregon. On September 16, 2022, Mahsa Amini of Iran, an innocent 22-year-old visiting Tehran from her rural hometown for the first time, died while she was in custody of the country's morality police after being detained for improperly wearing a hijab. This ignited a widespread number of protests in Iran. Those who are first-generation Iranian women and men, old and young, like us here, all have been arrested by this morality police throughout our lives and have been arrested to different degrees. But Mahsa Amini's death was the last straw. This is one of the largest protests in Iran since 2019 and a woman-led movement in Iran's history, with no central organization and spreading throughout Iran, with the cause being taken up even by male oil and petrochemical workers and truck drivers, and now to more than 150 cities worldwide. As soon as these protests started in Iran's internet was largely shut down, and we all know from past experience what that means. What that means: more silence, more violence. We have endured this kind of life for decades. While Iran's president Ebrahim Raisi claimed that he did not know about the death of Mahsa Amini and stated that it was caused by a heart attack and previous health conditions, the Revolutionary Guard, IRGC, and their volunteer militia, Basij, have been detaining and killing the old and young men and women. It's been reported that more than 200 people have died now, including many children and teenagers. Among them, 16-year-old Nika Shakarami in this picture was tortured and raped many times and thrown from a building so that no one could determine the reason behind her death, and her body organs were stolen as reported by her family. We are asking this of the United States of America. Can you hear us? We are asking this of the United States of America. Do you think that only standing with people of Iran is an appropriate resolution to this crisis? Are you going to firmly condemn the Islamic Republic of Iran? Are you still going to negotiate with Iran over peaceful nuclear energy? Do you trust this regime? How many people have to die so that the price of the blood favors the price of the oil? We, the undersigned resident of Oregon, kindly ask our representative to be our voice in Washington, D.C. We would like to ask that you, one, be aware that Iranian people are not protesting against Islam or any other religion or the practice of wearing hijab. They are fighting for their basic rights, the basic rights that have been broken by the long-standing Islamic regime. Two, condemn the detention, torture, and death of Mahsa Amini, Nika Shakarami, Sarina, and many others. Halt the negotiation with this brutal regime over the current nuclear deal. Freeze the assets and deport the family members of those in Iran government and the morality police. These assets belong to Iranian people and will be needed after our country is liberated. suppression of women, call on Iranian regime to allow peaceful protest and free election, call on Iranian regime to support human rights, children's rights, women's rights, LGBTQ rights, and animal rights. Iran just killed 1,600 shelter dogs recently for no logical reason? That's just one of them. Call on Iranian regime to release political artists, writers, journalists, and members to community. Remove Iran from the seat of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, for it is demonstrating now more than ever that it does not respect even the most basic rights of women. Identify and register key government and the morality police leaders as terrorists, or at least render them ineligible for obtaining U.S. visas. The people of Iran are now taking ownership of future of their country, and so this regime will soon be gone, for they have embarked on a path that is going to lead to liberty and democracy. We're not asking the U.S. to meddle in Iranians' affair and repeat the events of the 20th century, but what we are asking is not to support this subversive and brutal regime. This time around, please do not stand on the wrong side of the history. Woman, life, freedom. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Iranian American and non-Iranian citizens of Portland. So if you agree with this matter, thank you so much. If you agree with this matter, please sign the paper, and also we'll put an online petition so you can also sign it online. And thank you so much.